Hi, good evening. I'm Bob. I work at Waddell's Garden Center. The position that I have here over the course of the last few years since we've started this has been the hydroponic section. I'm the guy who deals with the plants that live in water. And one of the questions that I get, how in the world do I start any of these plants hydroponically? Because I know how to start them in dirt. You can just throw some seeds in the ground and they start growing. But hydroponically seems a little more complicated than that. Why would I want to do this hydroponically instead of in the dirt? Control. And the way you get more control is that instead of being dependent on the weather, that doesn't happen when it's inside your proper little spot in your house and you're one in control of how much they get to eat and how much they get fed. So if we're going to start some seeds, let me show you how I've done it here. The whole purpose of it is to find a good spot. You need a proper sort of place in your house. You have to make it so that you can get electricity to it and you can get some water to it. So for starting seeds, you would want to pick some sort of medium. And we sell a few here at Waddell's. One of the most popular ones, easiest to come by, relatively cheap, is the rock wool. For a big sheet, you can use flat like this and get a whole flat of seeds started up just like what you would do if you were using peat pellets. Keep it covered. And for what I'm doing here in these cute little boxes, since I only have so many plants to go around, I just cut up a few cubes and put them in this kind of thing. One of the most important things for seed starting, just like when you're using them in the peat moss, is sterilization. You want to keep everything nice and clean. I use some alcohol or bacterial wipes, bleach water in between everything, in between batches and all the tools. They all get spritzed with bleach, a little bit of water, a little hot soapy water just to keep things clean and as sterile as possible. Lab conditions, that's what you're looking for. So when we're starting seeds, we can use a little hunk of this rock wool. You take a little chunk of this with your sterile scissors. Get these guys clean, get your tools clean. Clean off this little guy here. I will cut some of these out. And let's see, I can get 8 of them in here. And they cut just like so, nothing too fancy. I'm trying to make it so that the rest of the rock wool doesn't get all contaminated. And so I will take some seeds, like these here tomato seeds. They're cute little cherry tomato seeds. They're made to go in a container. They end up being determinate, so they're all gonna come off at once. And it's a bunch all at once. And they're made to stay small. It's gonna be a little bush type. Perfect for doing something indoors so that you have more control of it. Tomatoes, cucumbers, basil, herbs, anything like that that is simple to grow, just like what you would use outside, you can use in these things, especially if you're just getting started. And so you take a few of these and you plant them in these little holes, you get it wet. Funny thing about rock wool is that it's got a neutral pH, and so it helps to treat them first, which is why I'm not actually doing this right now. Soak them in distilled water, don't use your spigot, give them a little pH down or a little bit of vinegar to change the pH, test it with a little tester. You can always bring it into us, we'll do it for free. In about a week and a half, 2 weeks, you'll start to see a little sprig pop up. And when they get their first adult leaves on it, where they look like they're actually looking like a tomato plant instead of just a little blob of some sort of weed, then you can transplant it into your hydroponic system. Now in this case, I've got one. Oh, look at him go. Up until a couple of days ago, he was inside one of those little pot just like this. He sat a little too long, so because he's got long sprigs on it and he's got many adult leaves and he's already starting to flower. He was happy, but he's stuck in this little tiny little cube. He would like to be in his medium. And so after a couple of weeks of being in this little rock wool cube, it's time to go into the bin. Now the media I've got here is expanded clay pellets. It makes it so that moisture gets in there and air gets in there and the plant can grow through it, but it's not made of plant material. It's mineral, so it's not going to damp off. It's not going to get fungus. It's not going to get eggs from insects. It's not going to get fungus gnats, but it makes it so the plant can grow through it without any of the drawbacks of being in dirt. I've already got some in the bottom. I'm going to move it around a little bit, get it kind of stable. Then I'm going to take some more of it and put it around it. So that I'm not actually hitting the plant. And it gives it a bit of structure, and it gives it something to hold on to. I've got some more distilled water here. I get a little bit of moisture, simply because it hasn't had any. And there's some fertilizer already in that system, because I've already got other plants in it. And as you can see from the footage, the plants who have been in there are doing great, and the one that has not been in there is doing real crappy. Keep them covered, keep them moist, keep them between 65 and 75 degrees. Keep light on it even before they're up, and then make it so that the light is kind of far away. You know, it's not too close, and as they grow, you can start to bring it down just like what you would when they're more adult plants. Why would you want to do hydroponic? What is the difference? What is the advantage to growing something hydroponically as opposed to in the dirt? Well, besides control, the fact that you have more say in the matter, you get less problems. And so even though you're responsible for more, part of that responsibility is making it so things you can't control don't affect your plants. You won't get damping off because you don't have the peat moss and old contaminated soil and tools. You don't get the little fungus gnats that is real common whenever you're growing plants indoors. You don't get the little critters coming along and eating them. you get perfect plants. You can use this all over in your house. You can use it for fresh veggies. You can use it for flowers. You can use it for fruit. It depends on the light that you put with it and the seeds that you're willing to start with. And if you've got any questions, you can always come in and ask. I'm Bob over at Waddell's at area code 269-345-1195. And check out our website, waddells.com. Thanks a lot.